All right. Hello, everyone. I am here for my post game reaction to the Michigan Wolverines 49 zip victory over the Michigan State Spartans. Paul Bunyan is staying in Ann Arbor. And as a bonus, I am going to go over to some extent what happened in Columbus earlier today. Let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. Yep, here we are. We are live. So let me click on that. Please smash that like button. I think I know at least one person who was in the chat. All right, so everyone, it is almost 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. So I'm not going to stretch this one out too long. I do plan on doing an open stream for the subscribers on Tuesday night. I'd like for Michael Burden to come up and say some things. If Alex could come up and say some things, that would be cool. I know he's got basketball practice, but all the subs, it's Michigan's going into a bye week, so I think it would be fun to do something where everyone who wants to can come up and say something. Raheem Gaines, thank you for being the first one in. Please smash that like button. I'm going to play Let's Go Blue, and I will jump in and yeah, and then I'll wrap this up. Again, it's 11 o'clock here in Northern Virginia. And yeah, let's not stretch this into midnight. All right. Oh, it's 11 o'clock here. It's almost midnight. These late games. Oh, there's my brother Amal. Nelson, thank you for stopping through as well. Shout out to my brother Amal Dunbar. Uh, thank you, Nelson, for stopping through. Everyone, this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. I am the content creator for this channel. I am also a Michigan alum. That is where my doctor title comes from. And I am a fan and a blogger, and I am writing a sports related book. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I am always here. Everyone, please smash that like button if you haven't. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. If you see fit, please subscribe to the channel. And the super chat is live. And if you're watching on the playback, you can leave a super thanks. And my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. Most of you guys know this already. For however long you come in, if you're here for a second, a millisecond, a minute, 5 minutes for the entire stream, please smash that like button. I know I think Johnny's probably put up something at this point. Sam Webb is probably on. Everyone else is probably on right now. So if you're here, thank you. So the Michigan Wolverines just defeated the Michigan State Spartans 49 zip. We finally got our shutout. We finally held a team scoreless. All the teams up to this point were being a little bit stubborn, but Michigan State did not. They came out and they tried, but they did not have a lot for us tonight. Prior to Wednesday, the story of this season in the Big Ten was how Michigan State was engulfed in their own scandal. And news broke on Wednesday night, I believe, that the NCAA would be investigating our beloved Maize and Blue for Michael Burden said sign stealing. someone under my shorts said no, it wasn't sign stealing, it was illegal scouting. All right. So our beloved program during our dream season is under investigation. So I didn't, other than that short, I didn't create any content on it. Uh, I will echo what Johnny Olden, the great Johnny Olden, you gets nothing. What he said in his upload yesterday, and that's that I'm tired. I think we're all tired of the NCAA coming for Coach Harbaugh and coming for the program. I think we all just want to focus on winning the Big Ten and then getting back to the college football playoff and being in position to win the whole thing this year. So I think we're all tired of this stuff. But for the non-Michigan fans, for our detractors, for our critics, it's good when Michigan struggles. It's good when there's adversity at Schembecker Hall. All the other fan bases love it. All the other cockroaches consume it. And everybody loves when Michigan is going through some sort of turmoil. Joe Klatt, was it Joe Klatt or no, it wasn't Joe Klatt's video. Another video that I watched today pointed out something interesting, and that's that when Auburn went on their championship run about 12 or so years ago. Raheem Gaines, when was that when Cam Newton came out? Was that was around 2011, 2012, right? When Cam Newton and Auburn won. Anyway, when Auburn went on that magical run, they were under investigation and scrutiny, and they were able to circle the wagons and stay focused. So something like this has happened before. And to me, this is minor and this is petty. Okay, this is not paying athletes money. This is not domestic violence against a player's girlfriend. This is not something inappropriate happening with someone not related to the program or with a graduate assistant. This is silly. This is silly. So for the Maize and Blue Nation, let's keep our fingers crossed that nothing comes out of this, that we don't have to vacate these games, and that this ends up being a nothing burger. Raheem Gaines, thank you. He says, yeah, Auburn won the national title in 2010. Yeah, all I remember that year was obviously Cam Newton went on that magic run. He transferred into Auburn, led them to the national title, and yeah, it was a storm around that program the entire season, but they were somehow able to hold on, and they were somehow able to focus throughout that SEC schedule, and then go on to win the national title. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about our beloved Maize and Blue. They looked pretty much focused tonight. They looked pretty unfazed by all the chatter that's been happening around the program, around the outside of the program, in my personal text group and everything. There's been a lot of chatter about that, but there are also a lot of positive uploads out there saying, you know what, screw the NCAA. This is a witch hunt. They have it in for Coach Harbaugh. So if you're listening to negative people talk about this, there's a lot of positive content out there putting an optimistic spin on this as well. Give me a second here, guys. When you're talking, your lips tend to dry up. All right, so let me pull this up. You guys know how I do. All right, so please smash that like button. However long you stay, please smash that like button. That helps me and that helps the channel out. So Michigan now is 7. They should be 8-0. Yeah, they're 8-0. They're 5-0 in conference, and they are 3-0 in terms of non-conference opponents. You guys know who they've taken down thus far: East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, That was the 3 interception JJ McCarthy game. Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, and now Michigan State, 49-zip. Paul Bunyan is going back to Ann Arbor for another year. All right, you guys know that I take my notes. I'm not going to go over all these notes. I'm just going to go over the statistics for the game. So for that, we are going over to the ESPN site. And these will mostly be Michigan stats because, well, Michigan State didn't really do anything in this game. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. Please keep letting me know what you all think in the chat and what you all saw on tonight's game. So Michigan defeated Michigan State 49-zip. The game was never close. I'm going to skip down here. JJ McCarthy went 21 for 27 for 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think he has more than recovered from that Bowling Green game. I think who was commentating the game on NBC? I think Blackledge. Was it Todd Blackledge and another gentleman? One of the things that they're talking about JJ is that he's playing as well as any of the other quarterbacks in the nation. I agree with that. And he may not be putting up the exact same numbers as some of the other top quarterbacks in the nation, but Michigan plays a different style of football than those other teams. So don't be surprised to see JJ invited to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in December. Don't be surprised. Raheem Gaines says JJ looks more and more confident. Yes, he does. All right, so JJ McCarthy went 21 for 27 for 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. This Caton Hauser kid went 12 for 22 for 101 yards and 1 interception. They weren't able to get much done against us. Blake Corum carried the ball 15 times for 59 yards and 1 touchdown. Let's see, this Carter kid, who's from Rochester, New York. Well, Raheem Gaines, he's from Buffalo. I'm from Buffalo. My brother's from Buffalo. Rochester is in the next town over. So Michigan State's starting tailback, he's from Rochester. He carried the ball 17 times for 36 yards. AJ Barner had a really good game. He caught 8 balls for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. And as we will see, Colston Loveland had a really, really good game as well. Please keep letting me know what you guys think there in the chat. These are more fun when these are interactive. All right. And we are going to get to Ohio State, Penn State at the end of this because I did watch that game. I eagerly watched that game because that game in part is deciding the Big Ten East and the overall Big Ten championship. So we're going to get to Penn State, Ohio State. Let's see. So Jack Tuttle got in there late in the third quarter. He went 5 for 6 for 63 yards. Jaden Denigal got in there. He went 2 for 2 for 7 yards. Let's see. Alex Orji. I know. Shout out to Johnny Olden. He wanted to see a lot. He wanted to see more of Alex Orji. So Alex Orji got in there in the fourth quarter. He carried the ball 5 times for 27 yards, and he got into the end zone himself. The team went bonkers over that. Donovan Edwards carried the ball 6 times for 14 yards. Once again, he's not getting a lot done on the ground. He seems to be more effective this year as a weapon in the slot and catching the ball out of the backfield. First place records says go blue, different opponent, same result. We're going to get to that. All right. Receiving. All right. So AJ Barner led all Michigan receivers with 8 receptions for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. Colston Loveland had a monster game too. He caught 4 balls for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. I like that because now when we go against these stiffer defenses, we are going to talk about Penn State, Ohio State. Penn State does have a stout defense. Their offense today left a lot to be desired, but when we go out to Happy Valley, when the team goes out to Happy Valley, that's going to bode well if that Penn State defense has to guard our wide receivers on the outside, and they have to worry about our tight ends on the inside. So that's going to bode well for us out in Happy Valley. And I don't think, should I say this? I'll go ahead and say it. We have a better offense than Ohio State. We have a much better offense than Ohio State. So yeah, so Penn State is going to be at home, and they're gonna get that home field advantage and that crowd, and they're gonna be motivated. But I think our offense is going to stretch that defense in ways that Ohio State's offense could not today. All right. So Colston Loveland had a monster game. He caught 4 balls for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. Roman Wilson caught 2 balls for 50 yards and 1 touchdown. JJ actually could have hit him a second time, but he opted for something else. Please smash that like button if you haven't. No matter how long you stay, please smash that like button. Samaj Morgan caught 3 balls for 39 yards. Cornelius Johnson caught 3 for 26 yards. Donovan Edwards caught 3 balls for 23 yards. Blake Corum caught 2 for 17 yards. And then Frederick Moore, Marlon Klein, and Leon Franklin each caught a ball. The cool thing about our team this year is the chemistry. They all seem to be happy for each other. Donovan is not getting the production on the ground like he did last year, but he's getting involved where he can. And again, the whole team just seems to be happy for one another. And that's really, really good in terms of chemistry. The defense, there were sacks and tackles enough to go around. So Derek Moore got 1 sack. Let's see, who else sacked that MSU quarterback? Josiah Stewart got 1. I thought there were more. Maybe those were tackles for losses. So Derek Moore got a tackle for loss. Jaden McBurrows got a tackle for loss. Keyshawn Harris got a tackle for loss. Cam Good got a half tackle for loss. Josiah Stewart got 1. Braden McGregor got 1.5. And Ernest Hausman got 1.5. And Mason Graham got 1.5 interceptions. Let's see. Wait a minute. This is not accurate because Mike Sainer still got a pick 6. And another Michigan kid got an interception. So ESPN did not capture that, at least up to this point. Please continue commenting in the chat. Let's see. Raheem Gaines, my nickname for him is Urban Gaines in our text group. He says, I agree. The team up north has a better offense than Ohio State. We need a healthy Trey and Emeka, but both of our squads have a national championship caliber defense right now. Yeah, Raheem Gaines, and I that's not like me to say things like that. I'm usually a little more conservative and a little more cautious. I'm sounding like your brother right now, but and there's a month left. There's a month left until Thanksgiving. So that's plenty of time for Ohio State to catch its stride and get healthy. And I don't want to speak anything into existence like injuries, but I'll just say there's a whole month for Ohio State to catch its stride. As I'll get to later, I think, well, I'll get to Penn State, Ohio State when I get there. First place record says, I agree, our offense is better than OSU's, and we have the better quarterback. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else here? Kick returns, punt returns. James Turner didn't have to kick any field goals today. Yeah, so let me go to the team statistics, then I will move on. Let's see. All right. So Michigan had 28 first downs to Michigan State's 10. In terms of third down efficiency, Michigan was 7 for 11. Michigan generated 477 total yards. 357 of those yards came through the air, and 120 of those yards came on the ground. Let's see. Michigan averaged 10.2 yards per pass. Michigan had 7 penalties for 65 yards. And Michigan held the ball. Michigan possessed the ball for 32 minutes and 52 seconds, while Michigan State possessed the ball for 20 minutes and 18 seconds. So it's more than what was predicted. I think the prediction was that Michigan would win this game by 25 points. They won it by almost double. They almost doubled that score. And the Michigan State team has been in turmoil and disarray for the entire season. So this was not unforeseen. Abdul Gaines has entered the chat. So for that, we have to give Abdul Gaines a proper greeting. And that will be with 2 of Abdul Gaines' favorite coaches.
All right, and I'm going to continue to live that way and try to do what's right. And, you know, that's who Nick Saban is. All right, so regardless of what anybody says, that's who Nick Saban is.
That is one of Abdul Gaines' favorite coaches. Let's greet Abdul with another one of his favorite coaches.
You top of your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference.
All right, that's a little inside joke there. All right, so do you all have any comments or thoughts on Michigan's 49-0 victory over the Michigan State Spartans? Paul Bunyan is going back home to Ann Arbor, and once again, this result was not unexpected. So Michigan is going into the bye week with the NCAA investigation and controversy, but the team circled the wagons tonight and is doing really well. They seemed to be focused and unfazed by what happened. So for the Michigan fan base, let's just keep our fingers crossed that this turns out to be a nothing burger and the kids are able to stay focused on the task at hand, which is winning the Big Ten title for the 3rd straight year, and also going back to the college football playoff and advancing past the semifinal round. All right. So the other big game in the Big Ten today, because this was not the big game in the Big Ten. It was big. It was big for us in the Michigan nation, but it was the Penn State Ohio State game was huge because the thought process going into today was that it was a 3-team race for the Big Ten East: Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. So part of the puzzle has been solved today, but there's still a lot of football left to be played. Michigan has to play Penn State, which is coming up in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And then Michigan and Ohio State have to play in Ann Arbor. So did any of you watch the Penn State Ohio State game today? I did. I was curious to see how both of those teams would match up. And I was curious to see what our team would have to face when we matched up with both of those teams in November, because the next game after the bye is Purdue. It should be another relatively easy win. I was going to say a shellacking, but I don't want to get too cocky here. But this should be another relatively easy win for the Wolverines. And then the final stretch, that final 3-game stretch, that's where the rubber really hits the road, because they're going to go out to Happy Valley, and then they're going to come here to the DMV to play Talia and Taulia Tagovailoa and the Maryland Terrapins. They're competitive. They haven't beat Michigan yet. And Taulia always presents problems for our defense. And then the week after that is the annual matchup with Ohio State. So how did Ohio State and Penn State, how did that heavyweight fight do earlier on today? Let's pull up the ESPN site for this. It was actually a pretty good game. Ohio State won this game. You know what? Before I get into this, we have to hear about what Ryan Day thinks about his team.
This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
All right. This is a tough team. All right, so Ohio State defeated Penn State 20-12. I took notes during the game. I think that this score is a little bit deceptive, and I tweeted on Twitter X or X, whatever you call it, in the third quarter in the fourth quarter. I said, if Penn State could just get some offense, they would be up in this game. And that's what I thought. That's what I personally deduced from what I was watching there at the Horseshoe. I think if Penn State could have just gotten its air attack going, they would have beaten Ohio State today. Penn State had the defense, and Kyle McCord was not accurate today, especially once Penn State decided to double Marvin Harrison Jr. And I thought I was waiting for Penn State to punch Ohio State in the mouth and go ahead, but they never did. Drew Aller. Now it was his first time. You know, last year he was backing up Sean Clifford. So this is his first year starting, and this is his first time probably going to the shoe and being in that atmosphere. And it almost looked too big for Drew Aller. And the commentators, Joe Klatt and his co-host, one of the things they said was that Penn State's wide receivers weren't getting the separation that Drew Aller needed to hit them down the field. So it was Penn State's air attack that cost them the game. And also there was a stretch where there were some costly penalties, such as the holding Marvin Harrison Jr. when that Penn State linebacker caused the fumble on Kyle McCord, picked up the fumble and ran it back. If that had stood, that would have probably permanently shifted the momentum in that game. But that play came all the way back because they held Marvin Harrison Jr. on that play. But that's my synopsis of that. I took notes during that game as well. I'm not going to go over all these, but if Penn State had more of an air attack, if they could have punched Ohio State in the mouth with their skill position players, they would have beat Ohio State today. That's my opinion. And so as I was watching the game, I was, of course, thinking, okay, well, if this is what Penn State needs to do to beat Ohio State, and if we have a high-powered offense like the one we have, if we can run the ball and we can pass the ball and we do so confidently, then we should be able to move the ball easily on this Ohio State defense. But again, there's a month left until Thanksgiving, so a lot of things could change between now and then. Anyway, let me go over these statistics really, really briefly. Okay, so Drew Aller went 18 for 42 for 191 yards and 1 touchdown. Kyle McCord went 22 for 35 for 286 yards and 1 touchdown. Let's see. Nick Singleton carried the ball 9 times for 48 yards for Penn State. And Mayan Williams carried the ball 24 times for 62 yards and 1 touchdown for Ohio State. Ohio State's leading receiver was this Lambert Smith, right? It's Smith. I didn't write that down. Is it Smith or Stewart? Yeah, it's Smith. Yeah, the Keandre Lambert Smith kid. He caught 6 balls for 52 yards. And Marvin Harrison had a monster game. Marvin Harrison Jr. What were they calling him? The Maserati? Is that his nickname? The Maserati? Yeah, he caught 11 balls for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. So again, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is their best weapon. And I don't know. I just think that if our two teams play today, I think that we would overpower. See, I'm not even used to talking like this. Of the 3 teams, I think we have the best of the 3 teams today. All right, let me go to the team statistics. Actually, I'm going to go to the box score first and go and see if there's anything else I need to go over. Yeah, so Chip Trainum carried. Mayan Williams carried the ball 24 times for 62 yards and 1 touchdown. Chip Trainum carried the ball 9 times for 22 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr. caught 11 balls for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. Their next leading receiver was Cade Stover. Cade Stover played a monster game as well. He's a big physical tight end, so he gave them a lot of production as well. And Ohio State didn't get much more from anyone else, but the Ibuka kid, he's hurt, so they didn't have all of their horses. They sacked the Drew Aller kid. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So they were able to get pressure on him. And yeah, I just think from my vantage point, that was the difference in that game. Penn State couldn't get anything going through the air, and thus they were one-dimensional. They were able to break off some runs, but they weren't able to stretch that Ohio State defense to the extent that they needed to consistently get first downs and to consistently move the ball up the field. Andy K says USC just lost to Utah, last second field goal. So Utah seems to have USC's number. All right, let me go over these team statistics, then I'm going to wrap this stream up. So in that game earlier, Ohio State got 22 first downs. Penn State got 15. In terms of third down efficiency, Ohio State was 6 for 16. Penn State was 1 for 16. So again, that's not going to get it done against Ohio State in the horseshoe. Let's see. So Ohio State generated 365 total yards. Penn State generated 240. Let's see. Ohio State generated 286 yards through the air. Penn State generated 191. Ohio State rushed for 79 yards, and Penn State rushed for 49. That's the other thing. Ohio State's running game today. Now, they did play the number 1 defense in the Big Ten, but Ohio State's running game didn't look very impressive to me. Okay. Ohio State's defense was getting back there and tackling Mayan Williams and the other ball carriers behind the line of scrimmage. So today against Penn State, Ohio State's running game didn't look so impressive to me, but they were playing the number 1 defense in the Big Ten. Let's see, penalties. Ohio State.
Hey, I'm Elizabeth, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A honey pepper
Hold on.
pimento chicken sandwich is the collab of flavors. The sweet honey, the pickled jalapeno peppers.
That ESPN site. That damn ESPN site. You never know when those things are going to turn on. Okay. All right. Give me a second here. StreamYard is doing its thing. I'm going to go back really quickly because I want to see the time of possession. I want to see how long Ohio State held the ball versus Penn State, because that tells you a lot. Let's see. And I'm going to do this quickly before that Chick-fil-A video comes back. Okay. So Ohio State possessed the ball for 34 minutes and 24 seconds, and Penn State possessed the ball for 25 minutes and 36 seconds. So, yeah, I think if Penn State was able to move the ball through the air better, if they were able to get better quarterback play from Drew Aller, they would have beaten Ohio State. So Ohio State, I don't want to take anything away from them. They did play the number one defense in the Big Ten, but Penn State didn't have the offense to go with their number one defense today. Now, when Michigan goes out there, Penn State's going to be pretty fired up. They're going to have the home field advantage. The crowd's going to be in it. So we're likely going to see a different Penn State team than we saw today. Drew Aller is going to be at home. He's going to be feeling a little more confident. And so you have to look at today's game and just think that when we play these two teams, things might be a little bit different. Okay. There's a month until we play Ohio State, and we're going to play Penn State at home in Happy Valley, which is going to be totally different from them playing Ohio State in the Horseshoe. Let me see what my buddy Abdul Gaines here has said. He said the best defense. Oh, really? That's not what the statistics show, Abdul Gaines. The best defense in the nation resides in Columbus, Ohio. That's not what the stats show. Raheem Gaines says it's been running back by committee, mainly due to health, but hopefully the running game can be more effective. It will make Kyle better. And he said that the two best wins any team has posted this season belong to the Bucks. They have allowed 26 total points to two top 10 teams. The OSU defense is elite. Yeah, that Samoan kid, that Polynesian Samoan kid you guys have, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. And I noticed today Jim Knowles was keeping his safety back there, no zero coverage. So Jim Knowles learned his lesson, and he better keep that safety back there when he plays us, or else he's going to get burned again. All right. I'm going to go over some of the scores from the rest of college football, and then I'm going to wrap this stream up. Abdul Gaines also says apparently Michigan State has apologized for having an image of okay, a picture of Adolf Hitler on their scoreboard for a trivia question. MSU can't stop stepping in it. All right, let's look at the rest of the scores from today, and then I'm going to wrap this stream up, and I'm going to go to bed. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Let me know what you think there in the chat. If you have comments, I will read them. Let's see the scores. So we already know what two of the scores were. Okay, Ohio State defeated Penn State 20-12. Oklahoma defeated UCF 31-29. Air Force defeated Navy 17-6. Alabama defeated Tennessee and Joe Milton 34-20. I thought Alex might show up tonight, but he's probably sleeping. Oregon defeated Washington State 38-24. Abdul, Oregon, Dan Lanning. Oregon, Dan Lanning. Oregon, Dan Lanning. Substance over style. We lead with our helmets. They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. All right. Iowa. Minnesota defeated Iowa 12-10 up in Minneapolis. Tulane defeated North Texas 35-28. Missouri defeated South Carolina 34-12. Texas defeated Houston 31-24. Virginia defeated North Carolina 31-27. Mississippi, Ole Miss defeated Auburn 28-21. Michigan defeated Michigan State 49-zip. LSU defeated Army 62 zip. I think Abdul Gaines would call that playing a high school team. Of course, Abdul Gaines says a lot. That game is actually still going on. So LSU was up on Army 62 zip right now at 10 minutes and 17 seconds left. And I don't know which quarter that is. Florida State defeated. Florida State is up on Duke. No, that's a final. That's a final. LSU defeated Army 62 zip. Florida State defeated Duke 38-20. As who told me that about Andy Case? As Andy Case shared with us, Utah just defeated USC 34-32 in that rematch of the Pac-12 championship game from last season. And right now, UCLA is up on Stanford 14 zip. And right now, Arizona State and Washington are tied 0-0. I guess Colorado had a bye today. I haven't heard anything from the Dionites all day. Uh-oh. Raheem Gaines says, my man, Dan Lanning.
You're top of your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference.
Abdul Gaines, they're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference. There's a difference. Andy Case says Michigan's defense has ran more interceptions back for touchdowns than given up touchdown passes. Now, Andy, that's the thing. That's the thing. They have to show it now against Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State. So we've beaten up East Carolina. I'm starting to sound like Abdul Gaines. I haven't done anything. Our team has beaten up East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Indiana, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska. Now they have to do it against Penn State and Ohio State. If Michigan can get that win out in Happy Valley, I think the rest of it's going to be smooth sailing because that's going to be in a hostile environment. I don't know. Yeah, that environment's going to be a lot better for Drew Aller there. He's going to feel comfortable. He's going to be at home. But if we can take this defense on the road there and stifle their offense there at home, we have enough offense of our own to overcome that number one defense because Ohio State was able to move the ball on that defense today. They were able to do that. So if Ohio State can move the ball on that defense, then we should be able to do it too. So, but I'm going to zip it because I don't want to jinx what's about to happen. I'm going to read a few more comments here. Abdul Gaines says, I said this week that Ohio State was going to go ham against Penn State and the OSU defense. Indeed, it did that. Abdul, you're overselling, man. Did you watch the same game? I saw Kyle McCord missing guys. I saw Kyle McCord overthrowing guys. And Abdul, if that fumble return had stood, that probably would have turned the game permanently. So I don't know which game you were watching. You guys did not go ham on Penn State. You guys won that game by 8 points. And the game was actually closer than that score shows. I hate to be a wet blanket and burst your balloon, but you guys did not go ham on them today. Raheem Gaines says, huge win for Tony Elliott in Chapel Hill tonight. He says, gutsy win for Utah. Abdul Gaines says, Virginia has a black head coach, by the way. Thank you for letting us know. Abdul Gaines says, Andy Case, Michigan has... I don't even have to read it. I just start reading it and I start laughing. He says, in any case, Michigan has run back those interceptions for TDs on teams like Bennett, Burgard, Grover, and the like. Andy, those are high schools in our hometown of Buffalo, New York. So Abdul Gaines, his assertion is that Michigan has played a high school schedule thus far. Andy K says, true, but it's still a funny stat. All right, everyone. That's all I've got. It's 1:45 here. I am going to it's a bye week, so there's no prediction show. There will be no game to cover next Saturday. It'll be good to have a break, but I want to do an open stream probably on Tuesday where some of my subscribers can come and say something if some of you want to. Yeah, I appreciate the participation in terms of the likes and in terms of you guys hanging out in the chat. But I know Michael Burden texts me during the week and lets me know news. I heard about the illegal scouting thing first from Michael Burden. So he's come up on the stream before with Alex and voice his opinion in addition to some other folks. Maybe I'll tell Snowman too and Coach Terry. But yeah, I want to do an open stream this week for the subscribers and the viewers. So if you're not doing anything on Tuesday night, please come through and I'll drop the link and some of you all can come up and let me know whatever you guys think about this season, the schedule, the remaining schedule, these allegations and the NCAA investigation, the Penn State, Ohio State game, any of it. We could talk about any of it. All right, everyone. It's almost midnight here and I'm about to go lay down. So thank you to all of you who watched this live. Please smash that like button and consider subscribing if you're watching this on the playback. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. The link to my newsletter is also in the description box as well. And with that, I will talk to some of you all later on this week. So yeah, so go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Who's got it better than us? And it is great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Reginald Robinson, thank you for the generous Cash App. I appreciate that. You never know when you're a content creator. You never know who is appreciating the content and who appreciates what you have to say. So I appreciate all of the support. And your Cash App actually says, keep the content coming. Go blue from. Oh, so you're first place. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, everyone. Good night. Sleep well. And I will talk to you the next time. Go blue.